We find ourselves in a world turned most foul. A world filled with innumerable horrors, monstrosities that prey on the meek and mighty alike. 'Tis truly a wretched scourge born of nightmares. Yet it need not be so. Freed of the fetters of the spineless council, we can create something new. Hunters of exceptional strength, speed, agility. Equipped to overcome absolutely any foe. Bards will toil to do justice to their feats. For sometimes one needs a monster to slay a monster.
Hello friends, it's Lionheart here, and today I am trying to answer an age-old question. Which Witcher is the best? Now, of course, I only mean in a Gwent sense, and I am talking about pure Witcher archetypes. It's a long time ago, the way of the Witcher, but we shall soon see. Now, technically, you can play Witchers in all 6 factions, right? There are lots of neutrals, but I'm only going to be focusing on the 4 that have Witcher cards themselves. Scoia'tael, Northern Realms, Skellige, and yes, Nilfgaard. So, I decided over the last few weeks, I would take a look at all 4 factions and sort of consider how you could best play a more themed Witcher deck in each of those factions. I played a bunch of games with each of them, and I'm going to tell you the answer. Now, in this video, I'm testing a bit of a different style. Instead of making 4 different YouTube videos with me playing each of those factions with a short bit at the beginning about how to play it, I thought I would talk about all 4 here, add snippets of my gameplay over the course of the last few weeks to emphasize what I'm doing and provide links to me playing them instead, because I now live stream Gwent on YouTube as well. So I don't really need to repeat the process for you. It feels like it'd be less respectful to your time. If you want to see more of me playing a specific deck, it's already up here on YouTube. I can send you to it and you can click through it at your leisure and watch it how you like. Instead, this is going to be a more concise explanation of what the list is, what's good about it, what's bad about it, how I think you should play it, and, you know, a little bit around that. I think that might be better, but I'd love to know if you agree. Do you think that this is a better kind of YouTube content, or do you prefer the old style where I do go, you know, specific deck, talk about it for 3, 4, 5 minutes, and then just put some gameplay in? Let me know. Ultimately, I want to make content that you enjoy, so please, please do tell me. Obviously, all of the deck lists I used are going to be linked below as well, so you're going to be able to grab them there, and they're in the descriptions of the YouTube videos that I will link as well, so don't worry. Oh, and one more thing while I think about it. I'm considering adding like a weekly roundup kind of video. The funny minutes from, minutes, hopefully it's more than that. The funny moments from the last week's content on stream, all in one place for you to watch, and making that kind of like a weekly upload. If you'd be interested in something like that, drop me a lion emoji in the comments. That way I can kind of gauge if there's any interest and if it's worth investing the time. I'd really appreciate it. But as I said, if you do prefer the older format of videos for this, let me know. It really will make a big difference as to how I make content for you guys going forward. I like getting to live stream Gwent on YouTube as well now. Lots of people prefer using that, and I don't want to give you the same thing with a different thumbnail. So there we go. Anyway, back to this video. I'm going to give you a little spoiler. I know, I want you to watch the whole thing, but every single one of the lists I'm about to show you, I firmly believe could get you to pro rank. Genuinely. I did not expect that to be the case, especially Nilfgaard, if I'm being honest. Over the course of the Balanced Council's history, Nilfgaard has been excessively nerfed, because it's obviously the most emotive, it's probably Gwent's most predominant control deck, and the Witcher archetypes are... Yeah, Mill and Clog are my least favourite archetypes in Gwent history, so yeah, they're definitely divisive. That's the word I was looking for. And yeah. So there you go. But if, like me, you've seen a bunch of your favourite old Gwent content creators jumping back in and you've been thinking, oh wow, that looks fun, I miss Gwent, maybe I should reinstall it and give it a go, I think this video is going to be for you. I'm not making this video in a way I would have made Gwent content 2 years ago, going like, oh, this will get you 29,000 million MMR. Because I'm not playing the game to do that anymore, and I don't think as many people are. Right now, everyone's excited for The Witcher 4, and loads of us miss Gwent. We're coming back. Maybe you're in rank 5, 6. I was in rank like 17 when I came back after nearly a year away. And I just want to play some Gwent and have fun. Well, this is the perfect time to be able to pick up the archetypes you used to love that got nerfed out of being meta accessible, because you can play them now and it's actually really fun. And this video is going to be a great example of that. So hopefully you enjoy. But enough of me rambling, let's get in to the video. And let's start off with the general issue of playing witches. The biggest problem for me is the adrenaline mechanic. It was introduced in the same expansion and is tied quite heavily, no longer exclusively, but mostly to Witcher cards, and it can certainly make decks built around them feel a little awkward. I'll give you examples of it for each faction when we get to them, but it's definitely something to consider. But when I talk about a Witcher deck, there isn't just one for each faction, really. We have got a limited number of cards, but there are lots of ways to play Gwent. So with each faction, I ask the question, is this a Madoc deck? Because Madoc is a Witcher, technically that fits, right? So am I making a Madoc deck here? Incidentally, I'm only playing 4 factions. If you want to see Syndicate Madoc and also Monster Witchers, let me know, and maybe I'll consider a part 2 to this video. Anyway, enough clickbait. After that, there's another question. Is it Golden Necker Witches, or is it a more traditional style deck? Spoiler, there's no rent-free Witches, but thinking about it, that could actually work with a couple of factions, but it's not a question that resulted in a yes for me so far. Maybe we'll see. Now, of course, all of this is my opinion. The lists I've built, we made on stream, and it was fun. Are they objectively the best version of those decks? Absolutely not. Would cutting witches in many instances make the list better? Yeah, probably. But that's not the point. The point is, can we do it? Can it work? Can you play it? Can you have fun with it? Yes. Now, if you have other versions of these lists that you think are better, share them with me. I would love to try them and do comparisons of, here's what I did and here's what I played. Here's what chat suggested. Is it better or worse? I think that could be a lot of fun. So please do share them with me. But as I said a few minutes ago, I was really surprised by just how well each of these decks performed. And I had so much fun. Way more fun than I expected to, honestly. Yes, clearly I'm talking about Nilfgaard, but in general, I had a really great time playing these decks. So hopefully you will enjoy me talking about them just as much. It's time to get down to the factions. I'm going to start with the one that I played the least, and that is Skellige Witches.
For Skellige's glory!
Now, why did I play Skellige Witches the least? You're going to be shouting at your screen right now. Lionheart, Spessie's been out here. I've seen a video from Shin Miri saying how great Skellige Witches is. I saw Spessie got like 25, 50 MMR. They're amazing. Obviously, they're good. Well, that's kind of why I haven't really played them so much. That list, objectively, is pretty good. It's not a full Witcher list. Massive disrespect to my boy Arna Chad. But you know, that list has been played quite a lot over the course of December 24, and it's kind of a mid-rangey tempo deck that deals with Witcher Swarm. It's exactly what it says on the tin. And because there's so much of that out there, I think, is it still a good list? Yes. Could you play it well? Yes. But everyone knows what to expect from it now. So I don't think it's as good as it would have been if I'd made this video in October, because people are prepared. A lot of what's happening in Gwent right now, with people coming back and the massive diversity among deck lists that you see out there, is because people don't know what to expect right now. In a way that I haven't necessarily seen as much of, there are more people playing SK Witches. So yeah, but I'll still talk about the list. It's obviously very good. I'm going to link a video from a couple of other creators regarding this who will talk through it in more detail if you want to see their content of it being played. As I mentioned, Speci has done really well with the list. I know Shinmiri's played it, so I'll link their videos down below as well if you want to see some quality gameplay on it. But effectively, it's a mid-range tempo list. You're looking to try and control the rounds, you're trying to build your carryover, probably bleed down quite a bit because you've got a really nice tempo short round 3 with the Witcher trio. You've got good removal options between Geralt Pro, things like Eskel Pathfinder. Remember the days when he was just a useless 1 point a turn engine? I remember. But now he's actually a really good card in a Witcher deck. So yeah, it's got a pretty, predictable game plan. And it works really well. You've got the tempo of things like Portal into Fish Flappers, it's got a lot of good tools. It's not strong on engine removal, which is one of the things that it is weaker in, and it's absolutely weak in not having Arnachad, but all in all, a pretty good list. As I say, I will defer to people who've played it a lot more in terms of the more finer details. Watch their videos, please. It's great to see so many cool content creators still making stuff for Gwent. I decided when I was going to play it that we would give Arnachad a go. I would take the list that Speci specifically built, cut a few bits out completely thoughtlessly, and jam in my boy Arnachad, Sucrus, and a defender to try and get a little bit of surprise value. We played a few games. Here are some of my favorite moments. Yeah, it was really fun. So the Shiru is going to be at what, 8? Oh, my Arnagad's at 8. That's a shame. Well, it would be if I wasn't going to do this. Cute. Arnachad is here. Now, obviously, we're -7, and if they can kill Arnachad, then good for them. They can't. Whatever that is dies. Yeah. And we'll take the victory comfortably in the end. Yeah, and it'll be Gwent into Arnachad, yeah, for sure. Alrighty, daddy. Checkmate. Checkmate. So, Gary into my boy Chadders. Old Chadders is here, chat. Arnachad hits the board. The opponent hits Alt F4. So, the idea was, let's make people think they're playing the Speci list and know what's coming, lure them into a false sense of security, and Arnachad them in the face. It didn't work out that well. Realistically, I think, again, trying to fit it in the Witcher theme. Weirdly, the Witcher packages don't all go together that well these days, and they didn't at the time. They're kind of supplementary to other archetypes. I think in a Self-Wound deck with, Artis and Ceres and all of that stuff, Arnachad would actually fit a little bit better, personally, these days. Maybe I'll try that at some stage in the future. But, nonetheless, I had a great time playing it. It was really fun, and it's definitely a list that you could climb with now. Just bear in mind, everyone knows your game plan pretty much when you're playing this list right now, if it's anywhere near December 2024. We will now move on to Northern Realms Witches. Again, a very strong showing for Northern Realm Witches when we played it. It's, well, still quite a powerhouse, but as always, we're going to start with the question, is it Madoc?
Nope.
The only time I'm considering Madoc really is for Scoia'tael and also for Nilfgaard, because both of them have additional benefits to being Madoc that I'll discuss when we get there. So no, I don't think Madoc makes sense in Northern Realms. The next question, is it Golden Nekker or not? I originally thought it would be Golden Nekker, and I did try a Golden Nekker version of this, mainly because I don't actually think Erland as the expensive Witcher fits what normal Witchers are trying to do that well. I know you're a big carryover deck, but realistically I would probably aim for being just like a temple kind of deck if I was doing that, and less heavily on Witchers themselves. So I tried Golden Nekker, but that list overthins. It is awkward running Golden Nekker and the Witcher trio together, so long story short, it is not Golden Nekker. The version that did the best was a normal Witcher list. It was a standard Gwent deck. So the list feels like a much more traditional deck. We're going for wide swarming tempo, and we're using Uprising as a leader ability because it synergizes really well with what we're trying to do in this Witcher list. But brace yourself here for a rare bit of praise for the Balance Council from Lionheart. Cohen as a card has received tweaks since it came in. His power and provision changes have made him significantly more viable, and he is a really, really great option to add that extra bit of oomph to your short round or tempo push to 2-0 now that he has had those tweaks. A really great addition, and I'm so glad I put him into this deck. Now, realistically, in a similar way to Skellige, Witchers are very much mid-range tempo-y decks. You want to try and win the first round, you want to try and bleed well into the second round, maybe into a 2-0 push if everything presents itself well, or go into a short round 3, jam down things like a Witcher trio that are boosted, use a Cohen to make it more. If you've saved your leader ability, jam that down for about 4 billion points, and work at it that way. But Northern Realms Witchers particularly are the place where adrenaline becomes a little more problematic. This list does run Papa Vesemir. If you don't know what card that is, that's Papa Vesemir, not to be confused with regular Vesemir. He is Adrenaline 4. You absolutely need to play this card in the list because it gives you so much value, especially into your first round. He's the kind of card you really want access to get the most out of. You've probably got a board full of smaller Witchers from the course of playing through round 1 if you've played well. He gives you tempo there, carryover in hand and in deck. He's absolutely fantastic. The list also runs things like Offering and All God, which means you don't want to see in your round 1 hand the Witcher trio or Cohen, because you're going to need those to be boostable. Cohen particularly. You never want more than one of the Witcher trio in your hand, obviously, because you lose the thinning benefit, but again, they're Adrenaline 4, a bit of an issue. Your other Adrenaline issues, not as problematic. Obviously, Geralt Quen giving a shield is great. He's just a tutor. The shield's not as valuable in this list, realistically speaking, as it would be pulling out something like a Bear Witcher for Skellige or an Arnachad if you're really cool. But realistically speaking, a shield doesn't hurt. So it's not the end of the world if you use him without Adrenaline. Similarly, the Cat Witcher, no, not Cat Witcher. I'm just excited for Scoia'tael. Your Witcher Mentor going on the front row, the damage that it's going to do, and then it's Adrenaline locking itself, or not, if you're on Blue Coin and getting that as a really valuable engine. It doesn't hurt you. You definitely want one of those in your opening hand, because it demands an answer a lot of the time. It might only be 1 point a turn, but if your opponent lets you get down to that kind of 5-4 card window, you get stronger as the round goes on playing this list. Your opponent maybe not so. So it's definitely worth considering while playing it, but also while playing against it. Use Adrenaline to your advantage, or on the flip side, against your opponent. And the other thing, of course, just your normal Witcher, okay? The shield guy, this guy. Do not underestimate how incredible that card is Now he's a base 5 power, 5 provision. Used to be a 4/4 back in my day. He can be a 3-point-a-turn engine for those token witches or for damaged cards or whatever, right? That really does ramp up. It's the kind of thing that your opponent's probably going to have to focus on, because leaving that unchecked over the course of a round, it can be really scary as an engine. So don't underestimate that card. Now that it's 5 base power, it really is a big jump. I know it's only a point, but 3-point-a-turn engines in Gwent are not to be sniffed at. That really not. Like, they can really break stuff. So yeah, consider it. Here are some of my favorite moments of me playing this deck. Afterwards, I'm going to reveal how well we did. Like, in a day, I'd read that. You know what I mean? Obviously not in Polish. Oh, Gary. 18 is a multiple of 3, I believe. Hot damn! No, it's not working. In BioTree, as in on YouTube, or you have to pay a crowd per message? I'm sorry about that. Certainly not deliberate on my part, my friend. Let's play the Witcher trio. All allied units with power equal to Cohen's boost. Okay. Oh, they ruined it! You cretins! Do you see what they just did? Ruining my stuff. Boo! Wait, can I do this? Yeah! Jesus!
No, I never underwent mutation, but I'm still a witcher.
I mean, that's a lot better. Oh. Oh, that's sad. Okay. So, as you could see, I had a really good time with that deck. It was a lot of fun. Sure, it's kind of mid-rangey tempo. It has a couple of different choices of how you can win a game, though, which is nice. You can go, it's not the end of the world if you lose round 1 with this deck. For instance, you absolutely can resist a bleed or do really well into a long round, provided you find your tools. So it's a really fun deck to play. And of the 10 games I played, I won 7 of them. Now, I probably should have won 8, and 1 of them was questionable, but that's a heck of a win rate. Now, obviously, again, this is while climbing, but I'm also using a very Witcher-heavy version of the deck that you could probably improve on by playing less Witchers. So it's a really good place to be. A lot of you are considering jumping back into Gwent, and I guarantee some of you loved Uprising back in the day. I bet you used to love Queen Meve Swarm lists or stuff like that. Play this. Thank me later. Well, now the big decision for me is, do I save the best for last? Or do I save the... You know what? I'm going to keep you on the edge of your seat. So instead of saving my favorite Scoia'tael, we're going to talk about it now, and I'm going to make you wait for the Nilfgaard. Well, anybody who has ever watched me play Gwent already knows my all-time favorite archetype is Movement Scoia'tael, which means I'm a little biased where Cat Witches are concerned, okay? I am. But damn it, this list is good, and it's fun, and it wins. Anyway, rein it in, Lionheart. Let's go to the original question. I mentioned that Scoia'tael would be somewhere I would consider a Madoc deck. Well, I'm still not going to, because it's not actually really a Witcher deck, is it? If you're going to run Madoc, you're going to be running Madoc and Milva and all of that kind of... right? I genuinely believe that would be really good, and I think I heard that Cusento had actually just been playing a deck very similar to that, so if I can find a video, I'll link it. Cusento, wonderful content creator, has stuck around Gwent, and I believe is back to full-time Gwent, so go give him some support. Lovely dude. I think he's got a list like that. So go try that out, but it's not witches, right? It's just got a witcher in it. It doesn't count, that doesn't belong here, and it's not what I want to play. So, no, it's not Madoc. Now, the next question again is it regular or is it Golden Necker? Well, I actually think we are Golden Necker. Now that does mean that there is no Ginger Boy, no Gezrus. That seems criminal. My rationale for that is I tried playing the Precision Strike list that I think would have movement engines, a Gezrus, probably a Great Oak. It just felt, well, it's Precision Strike, so it's just Brick City, and it wasn't as much fun. One of the things about movement engines is exactly that. They're engines. They're fine on their own, but they scale as part of a moving piece, right? They get better and better and better together. Golden Necker really helps you jam multiple engines at once, and in this instance, really incentivizes you to play some extra witches. So, that's what we did. The Golden Necker version wants you to run Gaitan as well as Breyan. I don't think that's true in the full version, if that makes sense. The Gaitan combo also encourages you to play things like the Cat Witcher Mentor that pairs so well with Frog Mating Season. You might not believe me, but the footage I'm going to show you now and link of me playing it, we comfortably get those mentors to above 20 points. 30 points is not unheard of regularly. It blows my mind how much people undervalue the Cat Witcher Mentor. The card is nuts. Now, with this list, it's a Golden Necker list, so you're looking at consistency of finding it. I'm a little greedy in this list where that's concerned. I'm not running anything to tutor Golden Necker at all, but I had no consistency problems while playing the deck. I think we missed it once overall, and we won the game. Still, the engine value in this list is absolutely crazy. As with all things in Gwent, it's not about winning a round, it's about winning 2 out of 3 rounds, and that's what's really important. Access to multiple of the bronze witches, whether it's through the location or necromancy to bring one of them back, bringing back one of those important tools, helps facilitate your engines in multiple rounds. But once using the typical strategy of, getting your normal cat witches down, using your movement elf, and then the dryad as well, that little combo will absolutely win you around. Relying on the mentors and Gaitan particularly from the front row to the back, that swing is one of the biggest you will ever see in Gwent. I'm going to show you in a minute me doing it, and it's not that hard to set up. It works really well, and just using guerrilla tactics as a leader shuts off so many of your opponent's options. In regular Gwent, there are still some really irritating things that are row locked, or it will allow you to open up more damage for your cat witches, stuff like that. So honestly, it's great. Now, it is a Golden Necker list, as I said, so direct tool removal can be a problem. I don't believe in putting Scorch in a list where you have bronzes at 20, 30, 40 points. Maybe you do. You do you. You could put in triangle within a triangle. Can't say the shortened version because YouTube. But yeah, maybe you want to do that, and maybe you think there's a better version of this. If you think that's the case, please link it, because I'm looking for any excuse to play Movement Scoia'tael. I'm going to be honest. But I climbed to pro by mistake with this list. I won 8 out of 10 games down there, and I've won, I think, 65% of games with it since I got to pro. This is such a good list. I think it's very underrated. I think it's got power, tempo, and good engine value that can absolutely outlast a lot of other decks right now. Here are my favorite moments of me playing the deck. 28, 20, I go to 30 points. No, if I pass here, I go to 27, but they don't move again, right? So it's not enough. They don't move again, so it's not enough. Correct? Wait, of course it's enough. Wait, what am I talking about? Knickers in 3, knickers in 2, knickers in 1. Boom! Let's go! Yes! So I can't do it. Because I need them to be able to give me the extra points. We never get everything here, which is really frustrating. I need, like, yeah. But we got Caranthea and Koshi, and getting Renfrey there's pretty okay.
Are you fucking kidding me? Catnip instead of crowns?
Oh, yes! Let's go! Gwent math strikes again. Cute. Oh, this is gonna be fun.
Deliciousness. A few moments later.
This is so many points, like... I mean, what? Just watch, right? But I think the answer is actually, 1, 2, 3? Ah, opponent! I had like another 100 points, man! What more do you need? Like, Scoia'tael, it has the most witches, I think. I might have made that up. It probably doesn't. In my head, it's got the most witches. Actually, that's just objectively false. I'm just really biased. Anyway, go play it. It's amazing. The link's in the description. And I originally, when filming this video, was gonna end on that high. But no, come on. Let's bring it back down to earth. Yes, I played Nilfgaard Witches. And again, this was one of the choices where I could have gone Madoc. Of course, Madoc can be double Madoc in this list, so even more Witcher in theory, but and to clarify, I actually think that would probably be okay. Double Madoc Nilfgaard probably is actually all right. Still, you could do okay with it. It is very one trick, and if your first Madoc gets dealt with, your deck just kind of falls to pieces typically. But, well, I never played normal degenerate Nilfgaard. As I say, I hate Clog and I hate Mill. And it's been a very festive period. I've been loving Gwent. The community wanted to see it, so we let chaos ensue. Here, unlike a lot of the others, there was actually a conversation around archetype, and then whether it was Golden Necker. So the discussion was, is it Mill or is it Clog?
I hate it here!
Well, I'm pretty sure Clog has always been better in terms of playability or win rate. Maybe that's true. I can't think of a time other than when Spessy was fighting Bushy to try and make Mill good. Yeah. And Mill, as much as I hate it, has been nerfed even further into unplayability, so we went with Clog. Which means Clog Colgrim. Now, there is absolutely a better Clog deck than this, okay? Multiple cards like Sandor and Abduction make sense in this list. When I tried to put them in, the only way to fit them was cut Witchers. This is a Witcher video, so I didn't do that. But yes, there's a better Clog deck out there. I don't want to give it to you. Feel free to make it yourself and ruin someone's day. But the next question was, well, okay, are we Golden Necker? The answer is no. There are good Golden Necker decks out there, but for this kind of archetype, I feel like having the option of a double Colgrim really does make a big difference. And as a result, well, we ended up as a normal Clog deck. Now, of course, it wasn't just access to Letho to duplicate our disaster of a win condition Colgrim. We also get to play one of my favorite Nilfgaard cards, actually, Ivar Evil Eye. I really do think this card is a perfect answer to typically like early patch greed, and I think it's actually quite underrated as a card, so getting to add that in as well felt really, really good. But I think this version is overall better than a Golden Necker version, or certainly one that I could come up with. Now, terms of playing this list, well, you clog and you're a one-trick pony, so you want to clog your opponent and, where possible, win round one. So you're going to use things like your Viper Witches, Cynthia, or Infiltrators even to make your opponent's draws worse later. You can even use a Seer to put something back. A Seer? A Sire? Let me know which one it is in the comments. Always tickles me greatly when people do that. And you can put a card back in your opponent's deck, again, to make things more awkward, or even use her to try and save the day if you've played Colgrim early and he's in the graveyard, put him back in, maybe you redraw him. No, I don't play Renew. Yes, it would probably be better with Renew. Look, I don't want it to be good, all right? I want it to just be what it is. But yeah, in that round, you can use your Witcher Adepts once you've started clogging to get that sort of passive engine value. You've got really great thinning and consistency in a deck like this because Blightmakers thin really well. It thins Vlad out of the deck as well, which can be really good. And if you pair your leader ability to make sure those lads come out, it makes, well, it's a lot of points, right? And don't be afraid to use things like Snowdrop and your leader early if it wins you that first round. It's kind of important, right? Now, typically I'd mulligan Viper Witcher Mentors in round one because, again, of the adrenaline factor, really. They're awkward to play when you're clogging your opponent's deck with junk unless they're at adrenaline, and their adrenaline is so low that they're an awkward card to hold on to typically. If you're gonna have them, I wouldn't have two of them in your starting hand. Okay, side note, when pairing your leader with Snowdrop, trying to get those extra points and shuffle Vlad away, remember Snowdrop shuffles into the deck, it doesn't place on top. So, you know, I know obviously no experienced Gwent player would make that mistake. This, you can't, you know, you've got to bully it to, I know what I'm shuffling back, my boys. Oh, wait, no, she shuffles back. She doesn't put them on top. Oh, I hate this deck with so much passion. Like, have you ever hated a deck so much? Right? Yeah, definitely couldn't be me. Anyway, last say in this, you want to win round one so you've got control of the rounds. Because you want your Colgrim down, you want him to stick. But it's been known, if you know your opponent is the deck that doesn't run a lot of control, if Colgrim sticks, your opponent can have 3 or 4 extra cards. And if you've clogged them well and thinned efficiently, you just have a constant engine. Realistically, when Colgrim sticks, you're going to win a lot of games, especially when you're just playing to climb, right? It is a one-trick deck. If they answer your Colgrim, your game plan is basically hope they only drew junk, because that's what clog does. I find it less obnoxious than a mill, because there are ways you can counteract it effectively, but yeah. I really don't want to tell you the win rate here. We also won 7 out of 10 games with this. One of them I had no right to win, like 0 right to win, but another one I threw so hard it's not even funny. So, yeah, not what I expected, I'm gonna be honest. Here are some of the best moments of this list. Okay, they had 2 Pred Dives in hand. That's the scummiest thing I've ever seen in my life. Okay, so we should just be all right. Right? At 19 points a turn, and I'm ahead by, like, yes. Yeah, okay, fair, fair. Yeah. I hate that this works still. So that's 4 games, 3 wins and 1 loss, and we only lost because I got... Okay, we're just gonna play as many engines as we... I beg your pardon, sir. What in all of the kinds of fuckery am I looking at a Necromancer's Tome for? I need somebody to make that make sense.
and strike hard.
Because I'm not gonna say I love that. Because that could be super scary. When did that even get in the graveyard? You know?
Damn you all. Why would I kill a child?
That's really scary. I think we still win. Oh, maybe not. Oh, this is gonna be so close. Never mind. Ugh. That was chaos.
What is truth if not an illusion? Time to get our hands dirty.
Oh, this is a problem. It's Mill. Oh, it's great news. Oh, I love when good things happen to me. You know? Happy days. Let's go! I think I'm supposed to just play Colgrim, because if they can deal with it, I still win. I'm just gonna play him. Like, what? Right?
I demand justice. A trial by ordeal.
What's the worst that could happen? I'm literally Clog v Mill right now. There is no worse. There isn't a worse. And that brings together all 4 of the factions. Now, spoiler alert, my opinion is clearly, you know, Scoia'tael is my favorite. It's definitely the most fun. In terms of meta best, I would say it's actually a fight between Skellige and Northern Realms. Skellige has been doing very well and has faster tempo with things like the Fish Flapper portal combo that adds that little bit of extra thinning while using similar tools. But the leader ability is probably slightly more effective in NR. It's a toss-up. The short answer, Witcher decks, even if you're trying to really push in on them as a theme, they're all pretty playable and they're all really fun. There's a link in the description of this video to me playing all 4 of the factions, like whole YouTube streams, so please do go and watch them if you want to see more. If you'd like to see me revert to doing videos specifically in this style for each deck, let me know. I hope you've had a fantastic 2024. I hope that you enjoy Gwent long into 2025. I'm going to do my very best to continue to do exactly that. Who knows? Maybe, just maybe, you'll keep getting some extra Gwent content. Thank you so much for being here, friends. As always, it's been my pleasure, and I will see you soon. Bye.